TI Chandigarh. It's our pleasure today to have among us a motivational speaker, a spiritual leader, to discuss his breakthrough ideas and some motivational ideas for entrepreneurs, executives and officials. I would like to formally call Anuj from Altruist, our charter member and our event partner for today, to come and formally invite Nitya Shanti. Thank you. Enjoy the evening, please.
Okay. So I would like to invite Mr. Nitya Shanti to come and share his thoughts, because I really believe in his thoughts. I heard him just for 5 minutes in Delhi, in Tycon, an event where I had gone. So I was roaming around, I went into the auditorium and he was speaking over there. So I could hardly hear him for 5 minutes, but there was a very clear message which still brings into my mind every time. I would like to share that message with you. The message was that everything you have got, जो भी कुछ आपके पास है, that is on loan to you. That doesn't belong to you. That is not permanent with you. If you can keep this thought in your mind, you would always be happy. जैसे आपसे कभी कोई चीज़ जाएगी, then you would feel that since it was on loan to you, it has gone back. You have returned the book to the library. So that thought of his kept on reminding me that I have to have him here, because I missed the rest of 45 minutes of it. I wanted to have that. So I kept on pressurizing Sameer ke, kindly get him here, kindly get him here. So that's how, with his efforts, we were able to get him here from his busy schedule. Another thing I thought, because I could hear him only for 5 minutes, that's how I could remember his thing. So if I hear him for 1 hour, I might forget what he said. So how to tackle that problem? So I thought I'll collect all of those people whom I meet on daily basis and let all of them hear him out, remember at least one point, so that whenever I meet them, they keep me reminding. So that is the agenda of having you all over here, right? So you keep, please keep something from this thing and keep on sharing with me on wherever we meet. Yeah, thanks.
Wonderful, thank you. Good evening, namaste. So thank you, Sameer, and thank you, Anuj, for the warm welcome. So the intention is to, would you like to make this a happy evening? Yes, is that a good? Would you like to give it a light-hearted evening? Would you like to make it a light-hearted evening? Yes, a joyful evening? A fun evening? An interactive evening? Yes? Wonderful. So we're on the same page. That's the kind of evening I like as well. Alright? So my intention is very simple and very clear. I wish to share with you simple practical ideas that you can apply immediately, that are useful to you for your happiness and well-being for the rest of your life. Simple practical idea that can be applied immediately, that can be useful for you for the rest of your life. Is that a good idea? Yes. That makes this a worthwhile evening, right? And I also invite you, if anything I'm sharing is getting you in touch with something that's really worked for you, I always like it when I learn something as well. So it's wonderful if you can also share something that really touches my heart, and I want to share it as well. We'll keep some time for that, and we'd love to hear from you as well. So like I said, this is an interactive session. I really would love to have your questions, with one little caveat: make sure the question is connected to your life, not to your ideas. See the difference? When it connects to your heart and your life experience, it touches everybody. When it connects to your ideas, everyone gets into the head. There's a beautiful quote I read once, and we can say it together if you like. Let's say it together. The longest journey in the world is the sacred pilgrimage from the head to the heart. And that's the journey we're going to make. We're going to make it from ideas to the silent knowing that's within us. Alright? So all set? Let's say together, and so it. And so it. Alright, this is the way of welcoming whatever happens. Ready? So, My name is Nitya Shanti, you can call me Nitya, and my journey has been, I worked in corporate world for a while. I was an MBA, and then I left that. I became a Buddhist monk. I lived as a monk for several years. I might show you a few interesting pictures that we had along. And I'm here to share with you things that have basically worked for me in my life. To the extent they worked for me in my life, I can share it very authentically, very peacefully, just like friends share. I found in my life that to be my real self, I don't need to prepare. To be my artificial self, I don't prepare about. So I'm going to be my real self. In other words, I'm only going to share with you whatever has authentically worked for me in my life. And that way I can be sure that whatever, if it resonates with you, then you take it forward and apply it to your life. Wonderful. So, the session is called Happiness Habits. It's also about a bit of stress, so overcoming a bit of stress. And I will begin with a beautiful slide. What does it say? Nothing happens next.
This is it.
This is it. And this is actually a very good summary of the session. In our life, we often are looking for something that happens next. At the end of this session, something will happen. After that, when I go home, something will happen. When I get a promotion, something will happen. When I get that loan, something will happen. But you know what? Life is what's happening right now. And we'll keep revisiting this simple message. Nothing happens next. This is it. And so how do we make this? You know what? I've waited my whole life to meet all of you right now. You've all waited your whole life to meet me right now. And therefore, this has to be the best talk I've ever given. This has to be the best talk you've ever heard. Why? Because it's the only talk you're going to hear in the next 2 hours. There's going to be no other talk. And the quality of that talk will depend on the quality of your attention. So, one very powerful lesson that I learned was to take full responsibility for my life experience. 100% responsibility. Let me see what my next slide is. Yeah, this is exactly what it is. Let's say together, E plus R is equal to O. Now can any of you guess what this means? Something plus something is equal to something. I'm asking questions so we wake up after lunch. Event, how about it?
Event plus R is for responsibility equals opportunity.
Beautiful, very interesting, right? It's very similar, you're almost there. Event plus response is equal to?
Opportunity.
Outcome. Yes, and the outcome could be an opportunity, right? Event plus response is equal to outcome. This is a very beautiful and powerful formula. Can you give me an example of an event? What is an event?
Must be present here.
Exactly. Anything happening in your life is an event. Being present here is an event. The temperature of this room is an event. Right? What is happening? Being in traffic is an event. These are events of our life. Give me an example of a response.
Me speaking this line is a response.
Sorry?
Me speaking this line is a response.
Exactly, speaking this line and the intention with which you speak the line, right? So how do you respond? That's an inner state, and what's happening outside is an event. Now many people think that happiness and being stress-free is dependent on the events of their life. So in other words, a happy day is when everything goes the way I want it to go. The weather is good, the traffic is good, the husband or wife is treating me the way they want, the children listen, right? Everything goes exactly the way I want, and for such people this is a happy day. Will such people have many happy days? They're going to have very few happy days in their life. There was an emperor in Rome who kept meticulous records of his life experience. And he was one of the most successful emperors. He had large kingdom, he had so many wives, he had a huge army, he won almost every battle. And he says, at the end of his life, he says, I can honestly say, I've had 13 happy days. So you can be the most powerful person, and everything is going your way, and you can only have 13 happy days, because you're focusing on what's missing. You're focusing on what's not good enough. And so my interest is, how can we make every day the happiest day of our life? How can we make every day a day without stress, filled with joy? For me, success is joy. So R, this is response. How do I respond to what's happening to me in my life? So this session is about, break up the word responsibility, what do you get?
Responsibility.
Response, ability to respond. And that happens when there's a gap between event and response. When you do it too quickly, it's called reaction. The R becomes a reaction. Someone says something and before they even complete it, you immediately say something, that's called reaction. Very impulsive. And we know what that does in our life when we are too impulsive. So it's important to slow down. So I'm going to ring a beautiful bell here, and this bell is going to make a beautiful sound. And this sound is an invitation for all of us to really slow down. Now that you're here, really be here, enjoy being in this moment. Enjoy the sound of the bell. And if you like, we can all say together, all I need is within me now. All I need is within me now. Everything I need is within me now. I choose to make this a very happy evening. I choose to make this a very meaningful evening. I choose to make this the happiest day of my life. This is the happiest day of my life. And so it is. And so it is. And so it is. You know what you just did? You took full responsibility for your experience. Whenever in your life you take full responsibility for your experience, it's a happy time. Whenever in your life you give away responsibility for your experience, it's called being a victim. It's called blaming, it's called judging, it's called complaining. So whose session is this? Your session, with your life. Right? The quality of the session depends on who? Depends on each one of us. So we take responsibility. Right? So at the end of the session, you come and shake my hand and say, sir, that was fantastic. So I say, you are fantastic. You come and say, sir, that was waste of time. Alright. Right? Because what are we focusing on? What we focus on expands. Right? E plus R equal to O. This is one of the best formulas you never get. In your life, when you focus on the events of your life, you become a victim. When you focus on the responses that you can have, there are possible responses that are going to help you throughout your life. You say with me, no matter what happens, I can learn. No matter what happens, I can choose to love it. No matter what happens, I choose to love it. No matter what happens, I can let go. And no matter what happens, I can love. Very interesting. 4 beautiful L's. Love, learn, let go, and love. And these are 4 examples. There are so many more. You can be patient. You can be grateful. You can be compassionate. You can be happy. You can be contented. You can have a vision. They're just so endless. Every single good quality. You can practice that. No matter what happens, it's an opportunity for us to grow in responsibility. Ability to respond. This whole session is about responsibility. The radical paradigm here is 100% responsibility. I want to show you a small video of a person who's taken 100% responsibility. And see this video and you can revisit this whole formula and tell me what you learned from this short video. Let's see this video together.
I love life. You know, so many people come and say, how come you smile so much? And I'm like, well, this it's a long story. But it's very simple at the same time. You see, it's very hard to smile sometimes in life with things that happen and you don't know and you don't understand. And you don't know if you're going to get through it. You know, you go through the storms in life and you don't know how long the storm's going to be. Being patient, I'll tell you, it's the hardest thing. It's all the hardest thing. But when the time comes, I'll be able to hold the line. I don't need hands to hold the heart. You know, it is scary to know how many girls have eating disorders. It is scary to know how many people are just angry at life because of their situation at home. Every single girl right here, right now, I want you to know that you are gorgeous, just the way you are. And your voice, you're the man. On this DVD, I share my experiences in life of how I've overcome challenges and seen a new, fresh perspective in life. To be thankful, to dream big, and to never give up. I speak to children, youth, and adults.
Let's all say answers. Answers. Did you like that video? Nick Vujicic was born without hands and legs. His mother was a nurse. She did everything right. And despite that, shit happens. Unwanted things happen. This is what life is like. Right? And at the age of 8, he thought he should commit suicide. What's the point of a life like this? I'm never going to get married. I'm never going to get a job. I will always need other people to support me. I'll always be dependent. And his friends didn't like him, they didn't play with him because he was just so different. He felt so alone, so isolated, like we've all felt sometimes. But he noticed one thing, that when people see him and he smiles, they all smile. Wherever he goes, people see him because he's so different. And when he smiles, they all smile and say, wow, this person smiling, this little boy is smiling with no hands and legs. This boy is not complaining, why am I complaining? And so Nick realized he can be very inspiring. आपके आंखों में light आ रही है तो you can move around, sit somewhere else. Take responsibility, right? It's all right to move around. That's hurting your eyes. And so Nick Vujicic today travels around the world and inspires people to be happy no matter what. He's living what I call a complaint-free life. Despite the events of his life being very unpleasant, unfavorable, this man, he wakes up in the morning, he brushes his teeth, combs his hair, shaves his face, uses the internet, takes his dog for a walk. He's a double degree in accounting, he's an author of books, he's one of the world's top 10 inspiring speakers. He's living a very full life. You saw on that video all the different things he's doing, playing golf. And he plays a musical instrument. He does so many things. He says, don't call me handicapped. So the only handicap, let's say together, the only handicap is between the ears. So today is about overcoming these handicaps. He actually gave us a formula for overcoming the handicaps towards the end of his presentation. If you paid attention, he said 3 things. And we can say it together. I choose to be thankful. No matter what happens, I choose to be thankful. Number 2, he says, I choose to dream big. I choose to dream big. And number 3, he says, I choose to never, never, never give up. I choose to never, never, never give up. And so it is. I have a rule about mobile phones. Whenever they ring, you take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. And smile. Try again. Last time. It's called welcoming whatever happens. Happiness is when you welcome whatever happens. Suffering is when you resist and judge whatever happens. It's a happiness habit. If you're not liking what I'm saying, what do you do? It's a good hint to me, right? That's great. So the events of his life are very difficult, but his responses are high quality responses. Now how can we learn from it? Of course, these are three wonderful things he said. Be thankful, dream big, and never give up. I'm going to sharpen it even further for you. I'm going to give you just one idea. Take up one idea, make that one idea your life, think of it, dream of it, live on that idea. Let your brain, muscles, nerve, every part of your body be just full of that one idea and just leave every other idea alone. This is the way to success. And if you think about it, people who become so-called great in the world, they represent one idea. Mahatma Gandhi represents, you can immediately see, truth and non-violence come out very clearly. Mother Teresa, compassion. Nelson Mandela, peace, forgiveness, reconciliation, any different word, doesn't matter, same thing. So all these people we all know of, great people, they represent one, they're living one idea fully. And that's why we admire them. Organize